Gun Talk continues now in a more informal setting. Get ready for an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all featuring Tom, call screener Michelle, and Gun Talk producer Jim. Now, lazily bon ton roulette. In Louisiana, that means let the after show good times roll.
It's the after show, that crazy little place where we go. We don't tell our friends about because we don't really want them to know what we do here. Okay, Michelle and Jim are with us. Hey, guys.
We want them to think we have real jobs.
This isn't a real job? What?
Too late. No, I overheard you talking to callers over there. You guys are having way too much fun.
Well, you got to mingle.
You have to visit just a little while, right?
I enjoy my job, Tom.
I asked Jim how much you're paying him for this deal.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's right.
Depends if she buys dinner or not.
I tell you guys the story. We were talking about visiting, about the call my dad got that time. And the lady that lives across the lake from him, it's a little big lake. She's a nice southern lady, and everybody knows her. She says, Grits. And he knows her voice. Says, hi, Miss Pat. Says, how are you? She says, I'm doing just fine. How's Mary? Well, she's just fine, thank you. Says, how are the children? Well, the children are doing fine, Miss Pat. Sure appreciate you asking. She says, that's nice. She says, now, Grits, honey, I hate to tell you this, but your house is on fire.
What?
Well, you don't just blurt things out. You have to visit a little bit.
Southern charm.
She said, but don't worry, honey. I've already called the fire department. It's all right.
Oh, my gosh. Now, you just calmly get your children out of there.
That's right. It's all good. Just, hi, kids. They're good. Thank you. You have to visit. You have to observe the pleasantries for a little while. God. So that's Michelle over there talking with the callers, having some fun, spend a little time. So it's all good. Well, we got I think the quote of possibly the year from Buzz, right?
I'd have to agree with that, yeah.
Buzz Mills, I said, well, what do we do with these attacks, these terrorist attacks? He says, well, when they show up, we have to kill them. Okay.
Short and sweet, yeah.
That's what it is. When these people show up, we need to kill them, he says. All right, we'll go with that. And that's why you can understand the lessons that they teach at Gunsight. Yeah. They're pretty simple and direct. These are not, difficult problems to figure out. Somebody's trying to kill you, you must stop them from doing that. You better shoot them. So there you go. I tell you what, let's get these callers in here because I don't want everybody to get bored. I mean, we should be the only ones who are bored, right? There you go. That's right. I want to talk to John. He's on line 2 in Bristow, Oklahoma. Hey, John, where is Bristow, Oklahoma?
Not too far from the former town of Tuskegee, Oklahoma.
Now, that helps me a lot. That's like the guys who say, well, just go down there and turn where the old courthouse used to be.
Yeah, right.
Thanks a lot.
Well, at any rate, it's a small town, and I guess you call it the edge of northeast Oklahoma. I'm at the southern edge of what's known as Creek County. I was calling to give a shout-out to Buffalo Bore Bullets. That stuff is the real deal. I was amazed at how quickly it folded up that hog I shot last night.
Well, tell me about this hog, and what'd you shoot? What you shot it with, a 45 ACP?
Yeah, through my kitchen window.
What?
It's loud, let me tell you.
Wait, back up. We missed something here. What? How did this happen?
I've got some fruit trees out here with some fruit on it, and I get deer and turkey and whatnot that prowl around outside my kitchen window quite a bit. I like watching them, and I feed birds out there, and there's food to lure in animals. And I got to admit, it's the biggest animal I've lured in quite a while. And I look out the window last night, I seen movement. I thought, it's a deer. I thought, my goodness, that's the ugliest deer I ever seen in my life. It's a hog.
Okay. Yes.
But, we're plagued with them here, just like they are in most of the southern states.
Sure.
And
so wait, you shot him from inside the house?
Yeah. He wouldn't hold still if I went out the door.
So did you put on hearing protection?
Well, yes, as quickly as I could. I donned a pair of earmuffs.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you what, but those things don't work too good inside of a kitchen.
No, it's still loud. So, did you open the screen on the window, or did you shoot right through it?
The screen has acquired a new hole.
And
since the hole was bigger than 45, I'm assuming muzzle blast had something to do with it.
Well, sometimes you just got to pay a little bit to get a hog. So tell me about the performance of this bullet, because buffalo bore is kind of like double tap. They're using those cast lead bullets, right?
Exactly so. It was the box claims it's a 255 grain hard cast flat nose at just a tad over 900 foot per second. Whether I'm actually achieving that or not, I don't know. It's out of a little SIG 1911, the commander length, but
right.
The hog didn't argue about it.
So did it go through the hog?
Through the hog.
It went all the way through a hog, about 200 pounder, it says here.
Yeah, approximately. I mean, I didn't put him on the scale, but I bet he's every bit of 200 pounds, if not bigger. It went completely through him. It was probably about the upper third of his body. I'm speculating it must have burst his shoulder blade because he gave up so quick. But, of course, it was later in the evening. He took off, and you couldn't hardly see him afterwards. I figured, well, heck, he's run off 100 yards. I'm sure he'll die. No, he ran off about 20 yards. I found him this morning.
Oh, wow. Sounds like good.
Bullet went completely through and punched a hole in my barn.
So now you got 2 holes to patch up.
Well, I'm not going to patch the hog.
No, man, you got one in your screen and you got one in your barn.
Yeah, but I got duct tape for the screen.
Well, there you go. You put it right next to all that other duct tape on the screen. There you go.
See, new marketing plan for these ammo companies. They could send out some screen repair material.
I like it. Hey, John, thank you for that. That is a great range report on the performance. We've talked about these hardcast bullets, and when I was over at Black Hills Ammo, it's about 3 weeks ago now, we shot actually a slower one, 750 feet per second out of a 45 Colt, and it got tremendous penetration, much, much more penetration. No, actually, it was a 44 Special. That's right, it's a 44 Special. More penetration than the 44 Magnum, like almost twice as much. It was crazy how far these lead bullets penetrate. So if you're hunting with a handgun, I think that's the way to go. Or, everybody always wants to know what gun should I carry for bear protection. I think it may be the question is what ammo should I carry for bear protection. I think the hardcast bullets are the way to go.
Yeah, I'm surprised that a 45 ACP would have that kind of. I mean, obviously it's about the bullet, but even that's going about as slow as you just mentioned the 45 Colt was.
Yeah, it is. And he said they're doing about 900. They're really pushing that thing. But honestly, even at 750 feet per second, it will go through a hog. It's crazy. If you have the only thing you have to do if you're shooting a semi-auto is because of the shape of the bullet and because it's lead, with some barrels there's a tendency for the bullet to hang up as the cartridge is feeding into the barrel. So you want to try it and make sure that everything feeds the way it's supposed to with your particular gun. Well, that's pretty cool, though. I like shooting through the screen and hitting the barn. That just makes it a better story all the way around.
The buffalo bore triple threat.
That's right. That's right.
That's because it's 3 holes.
That's right. It shoots through everything. It may still be going, for all we know. All right, let's pick up Carol on line 1 out of Farmington, New Mexico. Carol, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yeah, I wanted to mention to you real quick, I had the same problem this guy had with his scope, and it kept walking all over the target. And I sent my scope in to have it repaired. They sent it back, so there's no problem. They said to check the mount. I checked the mount, no problem. Finally took it to a gunsmith. He looked at it and tried it and said, you got a problem with the barrel and the stock. You're going to have to bed the barrel. And ever since that was done, never had any trouble.
Huh. Now, did you do the bedding or did the gunsmith?
The gunsmith did.
So he used like a fiberglass bedding material in there?
Yes, he did. And I had thing was walking all over the target. Once they did that, it's been dead center every time.
Well, that's good to know. That's a pretty cool trick I would not have thought of. So bedding the rifle and the barrel, that's the trick there. Well, that's kind of the challenge of getting some of these older guns to shoot. You keep trying stuff. You try that didn't work. Try that, and eventually you go, oh yeah, that was it. Okay, we didn't know. Sometimes you get lucky, you get the right one first off, but sometimes you have to go through several of them. Carol, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Michelle, I'm sure you guys see that at the shop all the time. You're going, okay, this gun doesn't shoot right. Well, now the gunsmith's going, okay, it's not ever the one thing. It's always trying to figure out which one thing it is.
Well, you're exactly right, Tom. I mean, even if somebody comes in and tries to describe what's happening to them, you really have to go out onto the range and do it yourself with them and find out what it is. I guess it's kind of like taking your car to a mechanic and trying to describe the sound, because there's so many different things that go into a good shot or a good round of ammunition. So
well, and the other thing is kind of like the car deal, Michelle. Is when you go into the gunsmith, don't say the sights are messed up on this gun. Tell him what it's doing.
Symptom, yeah.
Let him figure it out what the actual problem is.
Right, because you've got mounts, you've got torque, you've got, maybe just a problem with whether the screws are all the way in or if it's, mounted level or not. There's so many different things that go into just putting a scope on a gun. It's not just that simple where most people think that it is. So I always say, get professional help. It's worth the saving of ammunition.
You tell me that all the time.
I do.
That's right. So when you look at him and say, I'm sorry, you need professional help.
Well, just the cost of ammunition savings is huge and instrumental in that way. So it doesn't cost much money to get some help with that. So yes, Jim, get some professional help.
It's a good point, yeah. If you get some help there, you can save a lot of money on ammo. But yes, it's and sometimes I noticed that you mentioned you like to see them shoot, because sometimes the problem is the nut behind the butt plate.
Yep.
As in the person who's holding the gun.
Correct.
You go. The gunsmith takes it and shoots nice tight groups with it, and the other guy is all over the place. You're going, I think we've identified the problem here.
Well, and one of the main ways to do that is obviously to go off of a bench where you're not putting any kind of restrictions. It's not being held differently. It's completely off the bench.
Eliminate the variables.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really what the breakdown comes to.
And some people don't really understand shooting off a bench. They think that like a pillow or something works, or putting the gun down, resting it on a 2x4. No, you got to have, sandbags or something like that you can squish it in. It's nice and steady and it's absolutely not moving. So,
right.
It's all part of the process.
Right. You only mess up a stock once, right?
Well, or in my case, sometimes many times. Hey, hand me that dribble tool. I still have some work to do.
I'm betting this again for you. How many times is this?
Yeah, it's the old deal of the guy that bedded the rifle and forgot to put the release agent on it. I've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. At that point, there are some tricks. They can say, well, we can try freezing it and all that. But sometimes they just have to take a chisel to your wood stock and just chop it off of the action. So, yeah.
Can I send it in for warranty repair after that?
But, of course, I think at that point what you do is say, okay, it may be time to sell this gun.
Yeah, that's part of that. That's part of that professional help that you need to seek.
Well, or if you do like I do, where you take the, say, I've got a gun I need you to work on. Where is it? Well, it's in this box, and you shake it, and all the parts rattle around in there.
It was a gun.
Well, I think they're all there. I don't know for sure. Have a nice day. All right, let's take a quick break here because I got some things to talk about on the backside. We'll be right back.
EWL by Slip 2000 is the absolute best gun lube available, period. It will never gum up or become sticky. It won't attract dust, dirt, or sand, and doesn't freeze in cold weather. It penetrates and bonds with a metal-reducing friction and wear, which means less cleaning and easier cleaning. Why not try it? Visit our participating dealer for a free sample or go to slip2000.com. That's slip2000.com.
All right, back with more of the after show here with Michelle and Jim, having some fun here. Michelle, I noticed that when we had Buzz Mills on here from Gunsight, up on my little screen here, it pops up, says, I want to take his class, ! So what was it about Buzz and Gunsight that got you excited?
But I guess I just hear so much conversation. I've not gone to one of the larger academies, and Jim knows what kind of instructor my husband is. I mean, he's a phenomenal instructor, and I listen to him give the same advice, and it's great advice. You get what you pay for. And I just think going outside of that source of, your local area, if I have to travel to the West for the real thing, then maybe that's what we need to do.
What a shame. Yeah. Oh, that hurts.
Hey, let's see. Let's go out where it's high elevation and dry and
Yeah, not
beautiful. Yeah, that would be terrible.
Not sticky, humid. But
no, not sticky, humid. Yeah.
But I just think that, given the opportunity to go and, learn from the best of the best that's out there is an incredible experience to take part in. I don't know how expensive they are. I can't imagine they're ridiculously expensive. But again, I really think you get what you pay for. And I think advancement of education, we talk about it all the time, is huge. So why not go to the best when you know that they're the best?
Well, don't you find that in anything else too? I mean, it's the same. You're not going to carry I think I'll carry the cheapest ammo.
Right. Well, I hope you don't make that decision that way. But people do, and you have to do what you have to do sometimes. Something's better than nothing. But baby steps, save maybe instead of going to do this,
Everybody has a budget, right? I mean, sometimes it's a big budget, sometimes it's a small budget, but everybody has a budget. But, to your point, Michelle, I think it's a great idea to get other instruction from other people. Because even if, in your case, your husband's a really good instructor, but if you go to somebody else, you're going to learn something else because they're going to present it differently. They're going to have a way of saying something or showing something, or just a different set of eyes looking at what you're doing.
Exactly. And, we had just a little follow-up. We were talking about education and advancement. If you recall the 80-year-old lady that I had given a little bit of time and education and lesson to for shooting, who has never shot a firearm before, came back into the store on Friday. And at the end, she was just like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to express the thanks that I have for what you've opened me up to, because it is so empowering to take a hold of that education and the responsibility and to still have a deep respect for what you're holding as far as a firearm goes, but still be comfortable enough to be able to pull that trigger. And education is everything. The training, the education, somebody that you're comfortable with. It is just incredible. And I get so excited from seeing them come back and perform better and better and better. What else could you want as an instructor?
That's so cool that you would get that kind of feedback. And I like the way you put it. This is something that's powerful, but now I am comfortable with it because I know how to use it responsibly. And there is, whether you call it a feeling of empowerment or self-reliance or self-confidence or whatever it is, there is that feeling there when you say, okay, I can handle a firearm and I know how to shoot and I'm safe and responsible. You should feel good about yourself when you can do those things.
Well, and I think being a female, just the same as Buzz had said, we're seeing so many more women come in for education that the world is changing and people are wanting to take the responsibility to protect their family. And we need to take this seriously and not shrug our shoulders or look away from the woman that comes into the store that wants to purchase something to protect her family. So give them the education, give them the time.
Okay, think about this. Women are obviously more social than men are. Women talk more. They like to get together generally more. I'm thinking about where I'm going with this is you have more women learning to shoot, getting their carry permits, getting instruction, building networks of women and through whatever it is, social media, or getting together with a club or a weekly or a monthly shoot, those kinds of things. I think there's opportunity there for support groups that revolve around the fun of shooting and also the learning experience of getting more information.
Completely agree with you. Completely agree with everything you just said. It's important to do.
Okay, get on that, would you?
Well, we offer things at our store, but I think more stores need to, I don't want to say take advantage, because I don't mean like you're being taken advantage of, but to be able to commercialize something like that where a woman is comfortable. Maybe have nothing but women instructors. That's a huge...
Oh, I think that's a big deal. I think any place that can have some women instructors to teach classes for women, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a comfort zone. Sorry,
Jim does that occasionally, but he's got this really ugly dress he wears. It's just, I don't know, Guy. You got to get a fashion makeover. I got to tell you.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? But that was our little secret, but I guess it's out for...
well, once you put it on Facebook, I got to tell you, it's out there, so I got to tell you. So I actually had, I hadn't thought about this, but this week I had two women, or actually guys, ask me about holsters for their wives, and one sent a picture I said, well, this is the way she likes to dress. And she's wearing, it's a nice-looking lady, a young lady, probably late 20s, early 30s, kind of slender, wearing these, I don't know anything about dresses, but it's a regular, it's kind of a tight-fitting dress, not like a sexy tight-fitting, but just, slim build. I'm thinking, all I got is holster carry, which is not great. And I was thinking, well, could you wear a belly band under? Even that would show up with some of these dresses. And that's where a woman instructor would say, okay, here are some options for you. Because I got nothing to help with on that. I got nothing. What can I tell you?
Got nothing. And I noticed Jim wasn't stepping in there with his dress wear.
No.
And we know we don't want to do, I hate to diss anybody's product, but, the flashbang thing is just not my idea of good holster for.
And now there's a visual. Tom and the flashbang.
Yeah, the whole. You need some brain bleach. Okay, get rid of that. But, women who carry have, just as you have, Michelle, you've gone through these options and say, okay, here's something that worked for me. Here's something that didn't work, but it might work for you. And I have gone through those. And I've gone through every kind of holster guys can wear, but I don't know the other side. That's where I think having women instructors makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And there's an intimidation factor where I don't mind talking with a man necessarily about picking out a holster because it's basically plain and simple. You want it front, back, outside, inside the waistband. How do you want to carry? I can give you some advice and then you take with it what you will. But with the woman, it's far different. Obviously our bodies are different and it's not a comfort level that they're going to approach a man and discuss. So
I think you're exactly right. So to your point, for a gun store, there is a business opportunity in this that also brings with it benefits to the community in helping women, become shooters and become more comfortable and be safer. So everybody can win out of this deal.
Agreed. Jim's over there shaking his head as well.
I'm online looking for a pair of shoes to match my range bag.
Excuse your.
I got nothing. I got nothing. What I got to tell you? Well, it's just.
And sometimes, it comes to no more of a point than you can't dress like that. If you're going to carry, you no longer can dress like that.
Because I've made that point before. I said, generally speaking, what we want to do when you can is you want to dress for the gun rather than choose a gun that matches your style of dress. And people say, well, that's not how I like to dress. I say, well, you have to make a decision. Are you going to carry a gun? If so, you may need to make a few changes in the way you dress. But your point, sometimes you just tell them, I'm sorry, you can't dress that way. You're going to have to wear pants or jeans more. If a woman is wanting to wear a nice looking dress, something, a good pair of jeans can look pretty stylish. Well, with a good pair of jeans, you can wear an ankle holster. There are ways to pull this off. There are things you can do. So once again, it's just, I think about, Heidi Smith, Clint Smith's wife, and Ealing New, female instructor out at GUNSIGHT. And, they're always saying, well, yeah, there's different ways you can go. So I just think it's great. Anybody that's got a shooting range needs to be looking for and encouraging getting women instructors, even to the point, Michelle, of saying, okay, we're going to go ahead and start building women instructors. We're going to have classes that take the women who are interested and really pretty good at shooting, have showed some interest, and we're going to invite them to become instructors. We're going to start the process of building up our instructor cadre.
That's an excellent idea. More women instructors out there it's never a problem, and as the women get more and more educated themselves, they have a greater ability to go out and be a preacher to the sport as well, which then keeps the next generations and children and everything else coming into it because you're more open to the idea because it's a woman. They're comfortable. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is what makes the difference between being comfortable with a firearm and not. It's just, if you don't know, you don't know.
We had a incident probably about 4 miles from where I'm sitting here this week. A guy tried to rob a woman at an ATM, and it was actually a drive-up ATM. He ran up to the car, the window, while she had her window down. And I think he had a gun, but she had the presence of mind. She just jammed on the accelerator and took off. But in talking to some of the women around here, they said, yeah, that one really got to me. I said, well, it shouldn't take a local story to get to you, because it happens all the time, anywhere, everywhere, and you got to make that decision. I don't know, I just was thinking about this thing and talking to a couple of local women. They're saying, yeah, I was thinking about getting my carry permit because of that. I'm going, well, okay, if that's what it takes to get you started, that's not bad, but just understand that this stuff happens all the time. You know, the other thing that's happening, guys, I'm seeing, with all these women getting carry permits, I'm starting to see news reports of women using guns in self-defense more these days. So that's an interesting connection. Yeah, no kidding. It only makes sense. If more of them are carrying, then more of them are going to have a chance to protect themselves. So, all right, Michelle, I got a question for you. Because you've had the conversations with lots of people, as we all have, where you have the woman that says, well, I just don't think I could shoot somebody. I say, okay. And then you say, well, what about if somebody was going to harm your child? What reaction do you get then? Usually it's, that's different. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Or, okay, they want you're at a park and somebody just comes along and picks up your kid and they're walking off with them. And you got a 2-year-old. They're going to take your 2-year-old and just walk off with them. And all you can do is yell at them or beat on them or call 911, but there's a 6'5" guy who's walking off with your kid.
Or a pair of guys.
Yeah.
More like,
What are you going to do? And, in 10 seconds, they're going to be in the van. And it's like, a lot of them it's like the deer in headlights. They're not, I never thought of that. Well, I think one of the things that would help people with self-defense would be to have a better imagination. Because you need to think of this stuff.
Speaking of, you were talking about ATMs a minute ago. A couple weeks ago, my buddy and I were out, and I was out of cash. I swung by the ATM. And as we pulled up, I kind of drive slow, and I looked left, looked right, looked in my mirror. And he's like snickering. What's so funny? What are you so afraid of, man? I'm not afraid of anything at the moment. I just want to make sure be situationally aware. Just pull up and be blind, and, there could have been a guy standing here, there, whatever, and it didn't take any time. Like, the car was rolling while I was looking. It wasn't like I wasted a bunch of effort, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. I just do it out of habit. And he just thought it was the funniest thing that, I was so paranoid, and I'm like, okay.
It becomes a way of life for you. Well, okay, you say, all right, so what's the choice? I can either be aware of my surroundings, or I can go around clueless, which sounds like the better course of action.
Yeah, amen. And if, nothing happens and I took 2 seconds to be prepared, I can live with that, literally.
You can avoid the situation so you don't have to use the gun that you're carrying, and that's a good thing.
And if, God willing, nothing ever happens, okay.
Right.
You don't, you do all the stuff and nothing's ever going to happen. Well, I hope not. I hope you're right. But if you're wrong and my way would have worked for you, that's a whole different bag of marbles there.
Well, and what you practice is the alertness and awareness factor, where most people in their local situation could care less. Their alert factor is way down, which is where most incidents are going to happen because you're not expected, you're not ready.
Right. It just struck me funny that being aware struck him as being paranoid. It's like I wasn't sweating. I wasn't cocking my head on a swivel 35 times. Just kind of look around and see what's happening. Same way I do when I walk the mall or walk out to my car or whatever.
Well,
to me,
you know what it is. It goes back to what I was talking about before. For a lot of people, it may not be the case for your friend, but for a lot of people, when they come face to face with the reality, the realization that you are taking steps to be safe, and they know that they are not, if they recognize that what you're doing is rational and reasonable, then they have to understand that what they're doing is irrational, and unreasonable. Yeah. So they have to go the other way and say, easier. Well, you're just crazy. Because that protects their self-image, and that becomes important to them. Otherwise, they understand that they are, in fact, inadequate and ill-prepared, which they are, and they don't want to go there mentally.
It's easier to ridicule than it is to self-analyze.
For sure, and especially when you find yourself wanting. So, and all this conversation reminds me of a saying that somebody attributed to Tommy Smothers. It says, when you don't know what you're talking about, it's hard to know when you're finished. So my question is, I don't know if we're finished.
I thought we had a pretty good hold on the conversation.
Are you sure we started even?
I don't know. Who are you people?
Why are you in my ear?
Well, we're going to get in this Ruger precision rifle. You guys got to look this up. This is It looks like an AR-15, actually an AR-10, the 308 size,
Right.
but it's a bolt-action rifle, and it's built for precision with a very adjustable stock. It's neat looking. And of course, as soon as you get it, now you have to drop a huge old scope on it to make it, work for you for long range. But I'm excited about the prospects.
Oh, shame. I have to buy a scope too? Damn.
Oh, man, I hate that. Jeez. Either that or just get your cardboard tube, and stick it on there. It'll look cool anyway.
Hey, that guy that put a pistol scope on his rifle was having trouble because of the location mount, and he didn't have an offset bolt, etc. Can a pistol scope handle the recoil from a rifle?
Yeah, it should be able to. If it can handle a 44 Magnum, that's pretty violent, so it should be able to. And, of course, on a 44 Magnum, you usually have a very lightweight gun relative to a rifle, so it should be able to handle it. And frankly, the loopholes are so well made, and they stand behind them. I keep thinking there's something else going on here. Just, I don't know what it is.
It could be that bedding thing that they talked
could
about.
Be the bedding, could be the mount, could be, who knows.
Eliminate the variables,
it's possible.
put it on a bench, right?
That's it.
Have somebody else put it on the bench. There you go.
I love it when they say, I've torqued everything down. Well, you know what? For instance, just imagine this. If the rings were not quite the right size, you could bottom out the screws in the rings, and it still doesn't have a good tight grip on the scope tube. Weird stuff happens. It's just all kind of things. And if there's anything you could do wrong with mounting a scope, I probably have done it.
Well, yourself, admittedly, not Mr. Mechanical, and you're
I'm
man
not,
enough
but
to
but I have mounted a lot of scopes, and if there's like one of those situations where it can either go this way or that way, it's a 50-50 shot. I'm about 85% at getting them wrong. Yeah. I don't know how that works.
There's professional help out there for you.
Maybe we
it's funny. My wife tells me that too. I don't know.
She probably means something totally different than I do.
It's possible, but I'm sure she's talking about my mechanical skills, right? It's got to be. What else could it be?
Well, if all else fails, Tom, we can get a group rate or something.
That's right. We'll do group counseling here. That's when my wife comes in as the counselor.
That's right.
I couldn't afford the professional rate, so I had to marry a counselor. So it worked out okay.
Obviously, it's working well for you.
Yes, so far so good. So my job is I sit in a little room by myself and talk into this little box. So say what?
Oh boy!
All right, guys. I think we wrap it up here. It's fun. I like the idea of. We've got to figure out a good way to do social networking for particularly local women's shooting groups, so they can have a reason to go back to the range. Honestly, Michelle, even if it's just saying, we're not even going to shoot this time, we're going to have somebody come and talk to us about this thing, and then we're going to have a social deal. I still think that a shooting range bar is the way to go. So you go out and you shoot a little bit, and then you go to the bar. You got to get it in the right order, of course, though. And then you can go have your...
I heard something very disconcerting, and I wasn't even going to bring it up until I had a chance to research it, which I'm in the middle of. And I don't have names or anything yet, but some guys were over here for a party that got canceled yesterday, our little bar-ba-shoot. And he said there's a range somewhere in Michigan. It's a trap and skeet place that has a bar. And I said, come on, you're kidding me. Because I was telling these guys, you guys know my policy about drinking and da-da-da, and we got to finish shooting first. And they said,
trap shooters are well known for having a beer or two or three while and during and before and after.
Not with me.
Yeah, I know, but it's always been weird when I went to the old Grand American when it was in Dayton, Ohio. I don't know if they still have it in Illinois. They relocated there, but you could get beer during the middle of the day, even if you were a competitor. Never understood that one. I know.
So there's a possibility he wasn't feeding me a line.
No, I'm sure he was telling you the truth. So, like I say, not my cup of tea or my can of beer or whatever it is. But
just think about the liability there. I mean, come on. I mean, if not common sense of not shooting and mixing with alcohol, that should be your primary concern.
Yeah, but we had him sign a waiver. It's okay.
Oh, you're good, yeah.
Yeah, but think of the elimination of competition, though. Their reaction time goes way down.
Hey, Charlie,
I thought you were going to shoot all the people on your squad. I thought you meant eliminating competition.
No. Pure reactionary. I mean, if you're shooting trap and skeet, it's all reactionary time. So, hey.
Hey, this guy's two
That's
spots
true.
ahead of me.
No.
Hey, Charlie, let me get your beer.
No, I am not saying that everybody should do that.
I
So
know.
please don't send me messages.
Now, in the old days, 40, 50 years ago, the guys who shot bullseye pistol, they would have a beer or a drink, and they called them a group tightener, because it's like beta blockers. It would slow everything down because, of course, alcohol is a depressant. Now, I don't know if it actually worked or anything else, but you're talking about the old, back in the days when they didn't even wear hearing protection. They would stick empty 38 brass into their ears, and that was their hearing protection.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good with no alcohol until you're done.
Yeah, I had a guy say,
I'll stick with that.
I had one of these guys say, this is the only place I go shooting that I can't drink. I'm like,
Well, it's going to stay that way. How about that?
Exactly.
And you're welcome. Because you get to leave.
Yeah,
And because Jim knows his friends, he has, no kidding, a breathalyzer.
I do. And I may need professional help, but I'm not nuts.
No, when you can leave without an incident, something went right.
Yep.
Well, it's like I was telling somebody this week, and they said, well, what's the deal about going into bars with your concealed carry? I said, well, it depends on the state. Sometimes it's legal. In some places it's not. In some places you can have a drink, and that's legal. Sometimes there's an alcohol content that you can't go over, blood alcohol content. I said, but my deal is this. That's a conversation I really don't want to have with the police officer or the judge or the jury of, how much had you had to drink? What was your blood alcohol content? If I'm carrying, I'm in a restaurant, I'm just not going to drink. So
not worth it.
It's pretty simple. It's just not worth it to me. I mean, besides, if you can only have one, then you should be able to have none.
Right.
So anyway, works for me. Everybody's got to figure out what they're going to do, on their deal, but that's the way I handle it. All right, I got to go out and do some gunsmithing.
Oh.
Somebody call 911.
Preemptive 911
It's going to get ugly
call.
here.
What was
gonna
your
get
neighbor's name? Miss Pat?
That's right. That's right. So call over there and warn everybody, right? All right, see you next week, guys.
Rock
Take care.
on.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Another Gun Talk After Show is in the can. We sure do appreciate you sticking around. And remember, everything Gun Talk is available 24/7 at guntalk.com. See you next week for the Gun Talk After Show.